Okay, we're going to do a sacred healing water activation process. And first, before we do that, let's do one round of planetary acupuncture. So let's take a deep breath in from Mother Earth to our heart. Breathe out into the stars. Take another deep, starry breath back into our heart. Fill that breath with love and breathe it back out into Mother Earth. And then let's take a deep breath in from the earth and the stars at the same time into our heart. And then breathe our love back out all around. Okay, now that you have your bottle of sacred activated healing water, what to do with it? We're going to use it to activate a larger bottle of water. But the first important thing is to talk about the bottle that we want to use. Let's look at some different types of bottles. It can be a quart or a gallon or any clear glass. The first time you activate water, it's best to keep the size to a gallon or smaller. You see we have a bigger bottle up here on the table. We'll talk about that later. But bottles that have contained alcohol, or what I like to refer to as distilled spirits, like vodka or tequila or brandy, or whatever distilled spirit might have come in a clear glass bottle with a good top. They're nice to use because we know they're clean, since alcohol will kill any of the creepy bacteria stuff. So it's okay to use a bottle or a jar with a wide mouth like this, although it'll be a lot easier for pouring later if you use a bottle with a small mouth, which is another reason these alcohol bottles are really good. And if you don't have alcohol bottles, there's always juice bottles, and they'll work just as well. Just be sure it's clean. And we have here this is a water that comes in a glass bottle. So that's what I'm actually going to use today. And you know, there's those gallon apple juice bottles that work really great, and they have a smaller top. They're, bigger bottle like this, but with a small mouth. And if you can remove any label that's on them, you need to do that. So preferably don't use bottles with painted words on them. Like this one here, the Car Winery, has a great little top, but it's got painted words on it, and they're not going to come off. And you can use, like I said, the smaller bottles. We've got a nice glass bottle here from Juice Ranch. It even says nice words on it, but the lid's not all that great, and again, you can't get the words off. You can see with these bottles, I've soaked the labels off of this one just to show you. A little clue here is that to remove those pesky labels, it's really helpful to use water that is hot, hot, hot. And Masaru Emoto, in his book called Messages from the Water, shows how words on bottles can affect the contents. He did studies where he put words on bottles and then he took samples and froze them, and he looked at them under a microscope, and the results are amazing. They show that water holds memories, and it responds to nice words as well as to the even not so nice words. So you can get a beautiful mandala or one that's not so nice, depending on what you're putting on the bottle. So it's interesting. So, even the words that are on our clothes have an effect. I love it when I buy some clothes that have a nice, although hidden label that says made with loving hands or freedom or even lucky and juicy. And I've avoided buying things that have a less than lovely label with words on them that I don't really want to wear. So it's time to have more and more awareness of our actions, because even the subtle things matter. What we're doing here is infusing the water with our words, and we want to begin with a blank canvas. So remember, use clear glass bottles without words or imprinting. Color's nice, but not for this. You can use it later to store the water in if you want to. After we do the activation, we'll be placing this bottle in the sun, and the colored ones will filter the sun, and we actually want the unfiltered light to come through for this activation. I began activating water in 1991 using Patricia Cota-Robles' method, the same method we're going to use today. The original sacred healing water came from over 100 sacred sites from all over the world, And we've been activating water ever since. So in a homeopathic way, our water continues to get stronger and stronger. And occasionally we'll add some water to it if we have something we feel is really special. When we activated some water in Chile during the Wesak full moon, we added some of that to our sacred healing water. Water is very important, as we know. Our bodies are 64 to 85% water. Water holds energy. It can be imprinted. And here's a photo of our bottles in the window of our hotel with the very powerful Wesak full moon beaming right into it. Today we're going to do this activation together, so you'll have the kinesthetic opportunity to experience doing it yourself. You can use this water for making your essence combinations, or constellations as we like to call them, as well as using it simply for drinking. This is a powerful activation, and you can refine it for your own purposes, because there's a place during the activation where you can do that. And we've added a piece that says the essences will do everything they say they will and much more. Okay, are you ready? Because first let's do the planetary acupuncture one more time, just to get ourselves in the mood here. So we take a deep breath in from the earth to our heart. Breathe out into the stars. Take a deep cosmic breath back into our heart. Fill that breath with love and breathe it back out into Mother Earth. Then take a deep breath in from the stars and the earth at the same time into our heart. And breathe our love back out all around. All right, the first thing we're going to do is to add our sacred healing water to our clear glass bottle of good water. If your bottle is full, like this one, you'll have to pour a little out. And don't be tempted to just take a drink out of it, because you want this bottle to be free of your energy. If you're just making it for yourself to drink, then of course it's okay if you do drink out of it. But we're making this water so we'll have beautiful water to make our essences with. And these essences will be for other people, so we want to keep it pure. Okay, so make a space in your bottle if you need to. And Pachamama always likes a little swig if you're outdoors, so I like to just pour it right outside. Just make sure you have room for that ounce. Now we're going to add our 1 ounce of sacred healing water. And you know, we have a place where we can hang up our activation so that we can read it from there. So put your activation somewhere so that in the end you'll be able to have both hands on your bottle. Sometimes when I'm doing this in the house, I just sit on the floor and put my bottle down and put the paper in front of me. But however you do it, this time I'm going to read the activation out loud, and you can read along with me. And there's places that I want you to actually speak out loud. We'll start the activation process here. The activation process is very simple but very precise. Please follow the instructions carefully. We're going to begin by pouring our entire small bottle of the sacred blend of healing water into a glass bottle containing 1 gallon or less of pure spring water. And so we're going to do that right now. Okay. And we're going to leave the cap off, and we're going to place both of our hands, this says a gallon, but on whatever size bottle you have, we're going to place both of our hands on the bottle of water. And then we're going to say the ancient Hebrew invocation out loud 3 times. And I want you to say this along with me out loud. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaoth. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaoth. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sebaoth. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God of hosts. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God of hosts. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God of hosts. This invocation is used to invoke the full gathered momentum and power of our omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Father, Mother, God. Simply say the following mathematical formula out loud 1 time. Say it with me now. 666-999-121212. Now visualize two blazing pyramids of light. One is forming in the third eye center between your eyebrows, and the other is forming in your heart center. These two pyramids are made up of the 5 solar aspects of deity that are necessary in order to activate the divine blueprint within your RNA DNA structure. The activated blueprint will transform your 4 lower bodies, physical, etheric, mental, and emotional, at an atomic cellular level into the perfection of your divine light body. The pyramids are formed on a 4-square white base. The white is the 4th solar aspect of ascension. The 4 equal sides of the pyramid are gold, the 10th solar aspect of God's limitless abundance; green, the 5th solar aspect of God's new order of healing; violet, the 7th solar aspect of God's limitless transmutation; and pink, the 3rd solar aspect of God's divine love. Visualize the pyramids spinning and projecting their divine essence through your heart, head, and hands into the water. Consciously feel yourself being lifted into a state of gratitude as you're enfolded in the embrace of God's complete acceptance, forgiveness, love, and truth. With God's embrace, you now project into the sacred blend of healing water exactly what you want this water to do for you personally. Simply state your divine intent and feel your requests being programmed into the intelligence of the water through your mind, your heart, and your hands. I ask that the essences this water is used for do everything they say they will, and much more according to the highest good for the one who takes them and all life everywhere throughout the universe. Thank you, Source. After activating the water with your personal divine intent, invoke the mighty directors of the elements and the 12 solar builders of form, the mighty Elohim. In the name of the almighty presence of God, I am, and through the full power of God blazing in every heart, I invoke into the force field of our unified cup of transfiguration the 12 solar Elohim and the directors of the 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and ether. Please say this along with me now, out loud. Blessed beings of light, come forth now and project into this sacred healing water through my heart, head, and hands the most intensified activity of healing and transfiguration allowed on earth at this moment by cosmic law. Charge, charge, charge every molecule of this sacred healing water with the divine blueprint of heaven on earth. Charge, charge, charge every molecule of this sacred healing water with the immaculate concept of my physical, etheric, mental, and emotional bodies. Charge, charge, charge every molecule of this sacred healing water with the truth of limitless physical perfection. Charge, charge, charge every molecule of this sacred healing water with the tangible physical manifestation of eternal youth, vibrant health, radiant beauty, God's limitless flow of abundance, divine love, happiness, eternal peace, and every other quality of God's perfection. Permanently seal this divine light in the core of purity, pulsating in every electron of the sacred healing water. Expand the power and effectiveness of this divine activation daily and hourly, moment by moment, the maximum that cosmic law will allow. I accept that this divine activation has been accomplished with God's full power. It is done, so be it. I am. This completes the activation process. Now leave the cap off the bottle for at least 6 hours so the activated water will be oxygenated. Then replace the cap and place the bottle where it will receive direct sunlight. This can be either outside or in a window, and leave it alone for a total of 72 hours, 3 days. It doesn't matter if the days are cloudy or sunny. The spiritual light of the sun is never blocked by anything. During the 72-hour period, the water will assimilate the activation. At the end of 72 hours, the gallon bottle or whatever size bottle you used is just as empowered as the original small bottle of starter water that you began with. After 72 hours, your water is activated, and look. And look, here, it's been 72 hours. And once your water's activated, you want to remember to fill your starter bottle right away. So you have water to activate your next bottle. And you have to remember to do that each time. Now you'll see why it's much easier here if you have this small mouth bottle to refill with. Now, remember, you're doing this after you've waited 72 hours. I often like to put a little label on my bottle and once we've left it out in the sun for the first 6 or 8 hours, and you put your top back on so it doesn't get stuff in it, I usually just put a little tag to say when I did it so I know when 72 hours is. We activate a lot of water, so we have to mark it. You might just remember. To make more healing water, you simply take an ounce of your activated water and add it to pure spring water and do the activation process. This sacred healing water is a gift from on high and must be treated as a holy sacrament. Keep that in mind at all times. The water must never be bought or sold. The starter activated water you received should last you forever, but if something happens and you need more, it's available through the New Age Study of Humanity's Purpose, P.O. Box 41883, Tucson, Arizona, www.airofpeace.org, or you can get it from us at Star Essence, 312 West Yananolly Street, Santa Barbara, California, and our toll-free number is 888-277-4955, and we're www.staressence.com. Now remember, you can now use this activation on any size bottle, and you can even do it on large bodies of water. We activate 5 gallons at a time. Doesn't it just make you want to always drink this kind of water that has that fabulous energy in it? I know it does.